build. So when it comes to building anything in Canvas, doesn't matter whether it's an assignment, a quiz question, a discussion, an announcement, you need to just learn one tool. And you're probably having a rancorous applause right now. It's like, we're just one tool. That's amazing. All right. Yeah. You just need to know how to use one tool and you could build anything. You can build that home page that you saw earlier, or you can build 5 of them if you want to, one for each season. Is there 5 seasons? No, there's only 4. In Hawaii, there's only 1 season, sunny. But other than that, there's only one tool that you need to learn, and that's the Rich Content Editor. And you may have seen this already today when you went into the calendar and you created some type of an event. All I had you there, just make yourself a little reminder, but there's so much more. The Rich Content Editor is the key to making that interactive instructions for your assignment build. It's a way for you to add your buttons to the home page. It's a way to put a video instructions on a discussion, things like that. And there's also a way for you to add audio tracks in multiple choice questions in a quiz. Think about it. If I teach Spanish, I might want to have the student listen to a series of phrases and they choose the correct answer. All of that is made possible with the Rich Content Editor. And there's no better way to learn the Rich Content Editor than trying to build some type of content page. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go ahead and just create a page, and we're going to put a bunch of things on it using some of the main features in this space. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here in my course. And now this course has a home page already designed in it. So depending on the course that you're currently working with right now, if you have a course that's completely empty, your journey may be slightly different than if you have a home page setup at all. All right. So I need to have, no pun intended, like a blank canvas in order to build our masterpiece today. And where I'm going to go ahead and grab that blank canvas is in the pages area of a Canvas course. So with this, because I have a home page, this is what's going to happen. Here in the course navigation menu, as I scroll down, I'm going to find my pages, and pages are down here almost at the very bottom for me. When I click on pages, it just takes me to this screen. All right, which is saying, hey, you're currently using home page 2. That means I have more than one. Okay, that's fine, but I want a new canvas. I want a new page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on View All Pages. All right, so right over here, View All Pages. And just taking a look here in the chat, you should absolutely see pages. You just got to find it. All right, for me, it's all the way at the very bottom. You should have at least a pages option in a course. If you do not see it, you might be a student in a course and it's being hidden from you. But for those of you that can access pages, I want you to come into this space. Now, for those of you that did not have a home page set up, you're working out of basically a blank course, you've been waiting for me this entire time, because when you hit pages, it transported you to this space. And just a couple things about this space is I like calling this the page index. This is the reason why I would never give students this tab, because it's just an alphabetical list of every content page that I have in the course, including the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 homepage setups that I could particularly choose from. All right, meet your teacher, module overview pages, a cheating policy. Yeah, I wouldn't want students to come in here. That's the reason why I hide it within this space. So you've clicked on pages, view all pages, and it's brought you into this space. Over here, top right-hand corner, this is where we're going to get a blank page to work with today, learning how to use the Rich Content Editor. And also, if you've ever noticed when you're navigating in Canvas, when you're building content, isn't that always the case? That's a design feature that whenever you need to build anything, like a new page, a new assignment, a new module, a new discussion, that button's always going to be in the top right-hand corner with a plus sign next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on plus page. And this is the rich content editor. Now, you may have seen this, but you may not have used all of the tools that it contains. So a little bit about its layout. Usually it wants to give a title up here at the top. That could be the title of your assignment, your announcement, and below the body where you can use all of these tools. On the toolbar itself, there are some common used tools, like for example, the 5 main tools that are used are these 4 right here, and perhaps your Google Drive tool as well. You can also access all LTI tools in this space. There are more specialized tools that if you're, for example, building a math course, we do have, for example, our math editor tool right there to enter in formulas. Or if you need to build tables, we also have a tabling option as well. So a lot of common use tools are already on the toolbar. For today's session, I'm actually going to be referring to items that are in the menu. We have drop-down menus, like for example, insert. You'll notice that these 4 items on the toolbar are also located when I do an insert because, well, usually when you're new to Canvas, we kind of go with what we know. If we've worked with a lot of Google Docs or Word docs, we know, like, if we come over here to insert, we'll find things to add an image. Once you become more user-friendly when it comes to Canvas, or what I'd say more dangerous when it comes to using this tool, absolutely. If you want to go ahead and use the tools in the toolbar, it's the same thing. But again, today's session, I'll be referring to insert and image, media, documentation, links, and so on. All right. Other parts of the rich content editor as we're building today, you do have the ability to check all of your work using this little accessibility checker. This is going to determine if everything that you've built on this page is accessibility friendly. That includes coloring. That means if you put something that a really light font against a light background, it will flag it and ask you to go ahead and make a suggested change. If there's anything like tables without header rows, if there's any type of images without alt text, it will find it. It will scan the entire page and make its suggestions. Another thing that I would recommend as a curriculum designer today is use the full screen view, because a lot of times when we work in this space, that's not a lot of space to work out of. For example, if I insert an image today, we will be showing this step by step, but if I just upload an image, let me go ahead and just kind of choose something right here. Not going to be picky, add a little bit of alt text and submit it. Look how big that image is. So there's not a lot of space. So when I need to work underneath it or like add the welcome message or maybe some course criterion, I've got only that space to work out of. So I would recommend today I will be working out of full screen view. And you can do that right over here, lower right-hand corner, this little option. And now I can actually see what I'm doing here. I can go ahead and work underneath it, put a welcome message. If I need to like lower the size of that huge banner, I just, maybe, grab the corners of it and kind of move it around, center it on the page as needed. Yeah, but I still have a lot of space to work under. Just remember, anytime you go full screen, if you want to leave full screen, find the escape key on your keyboard, escape, and now you're back here and you can go ahead and save your progress. All right. Well, anyways, I'm not going to cheat. I'm just going to go ahead and call this one 1.0. And I want to call it RCE practice. All right. There's a reason why I put a numerical value there. If you remember, that content page is in alphabetical order. That means if I put RCE, every time I want to find this page, I got to look in that list and go down to the R's. All right. But it's alphanumeric. That means if you put some type of number in front of it, that takes priority. So this is actually going to be saved and we're going to see it at the top of that list. And that's going to help you find this page if we need to refer back to it instead of you scrolling down and what did I title that? And, kind of scrolling through the letters and trying to find that page. It's always going to be up at the top for us. Well, anyways, I've got it titled right there, 1.0. I'm going to go ahead and save and publish this page. I'm not going to put anything in it, but this is the blank canvas that we're going to be using today for our session. All right. I'm going to go ahead and let you get caught up there and build yourself just a quick blank canvas. So click on Pages in the course navigation menu. If you have a home page set up, it'll just give me one extra step you have to do. You have to hit that View Pages option. Once you're there in the index, Click on that plus page button, top right-hand corner, and just give it a title. You can call it index page training. I just put a little number next to it because there might be more than one page in that screen. It helps us find it a lot easier. Once you're done, just go ahead and hit save and publish. I'm going to give you about a minute here, and if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And also, I just will let you know, if you have any questions, go ahead and address it to the group as opposed to me individually, because I can't usually address individual items, and it doesn't sound it sounds a little off in the recording if I'm addressing something that no one else can see in the chat. All right, everybody, welcome back from the break. Hopefully that was the break that you needed. You've made it halfway. Let's go ahead and build some content. All right, so again, we're using a tool called the Rich Content Editor to build everything. All I asked you to do was just build a blank page, all right, because we're going to go ahead and use some of the main concepts of this tool in this space. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, instead of build right now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to that page index, because I wanted to show you, just by putting an alphanumerical title right here, this is actually going to show up at the top of the list. See right there? That doesn't show up because that was the last thing that I just made. It's because of the title. If I had put RCE practice, no number, I'd be looking for it, kind of scroll until I find it. All right, so just note that that's something I did for training purposes, but it's also a functionality as well, that if you need something easily accessible up here at the top, just put some type of numerical value on it. Here's another thing, or another reason why I brought you into this space. What if you build something like, for example, a homepage that has a schedule on it, a schedule usually in the form of a table, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, that's a really nice template there, but there's certainly more than just 1 week of school. So the idea is like that is some type of template that could be reused if you could make a copy of it. Well, when you're in the index page area, anything that is a content page can be duplicated. That's right. If I build up a really good page today, this RCE practice, I can make a carbon copy of it. If I make a schedule page and I need 15 of them for 15 weeks, I can duplicate it 15 times. The way that we do that is coming over here in the index, the page index, and coming all the way to the very end. There's always going to be these 3 little dot menus that we can open. Well, to locate duplication, we're just clicking right here and we duplicate it. And there we go. Made a carbon copy of it. Now, there's nothing on it, right? But we will be using this copy today. One more thing I wanted to show you before you try this is that if you build something pretty amazing, you could go ahead and send this to a teacher, send this to another curriculum team member. Yeah, send to is an option. You can also copy to. This means copy it to another course that you're enrolled in at some type of capacity, something that you might be working on. So, or you could share it to the Commons. Remember, you could share it to the Commons for Oklahoma Public City Schools, or share it to your curriculum design group if it's been created for you. All right, so a lot of options are available in this menu, but I wanted to show you that duplication feature. It's going to save you time, save teachers time when it comes to building content. That's the reason why I'm able to have more than just one home page, because I can duplicate the home page, make some minor changes, and then switch them out as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and let you try the duplication feature. You just created a blank canvas there, a blank page. Make a copy of it. Let's go ahead and try that out. So in that page, if you're kind of staring at that blank page that you just created, go ahead and click on the View All Pages to take you back to the page index. Locate the page that you created and go to that menu on the right-hand side and duplicate it. Make yourself a copy of what you just created. I'm going to give you about a minute here, and let me take a look at some questions. All right, Neil, looks like you got it handled. Yep, I think, yep, Teresa went ahead and asked, can you send it as send it if it is just in your sandbox that is not published. Yeah, you can send anything, published or unpublished. Goes send it to a colleague. They'll receive it. And what's the really great thing about sending it to a team member is that they get a notification email. They'll be able to choose whether or not they want to accept it, and they can also choose what course to put it in. All right. It doesn't just drop into one of their courses and they're going like, what is this thing? They get the choice of accepting it first and then choosing where it needs to go. All right, I think I was muted. I apologize about that. Well, anyways, I'm going to head back over into the page that we created. This page right over here. This page, if you want to go ahead and open it up, just go ahead and click on it. Locate the edit option, which is located right over here, top right-hand corner. It's going to open up the rich content editor. So if I want to go ahead and add some type of link today, whether it's a link to a textbook, a link to a website, I want to put a link on the home page, for example, taking students or parents to a particular location. We need to know how to add a link and some of the best practices along the way. I'm going to use this as an example right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, paste this in the chat if you want to go ahead and use it as well. Now, when it comes to adding links, I've just given you the URL, but what you don't want to do is something like this, all right? Because while that may be pretty obvious to us where that will potentially take you, we normally recommend that links are descriptive. It's something like click here to go to OKCPS main page, and they click on it and it takes them to that location. So links should always be descriptive. I would never take, for example, a YouTube link and just paste it right here. I'd put a description of what the video is about and they click on it and watch the video. And we'll talk more about that here in a bit. So instead of doing something like this, I'm going to go ahead and do this instead. So I'm going to go ahead and say here, a link for our school's main page. This is a link for our school's main page. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight the whole thing. Now you can do, like, for example, right here, if you want to bring emphasis to the link and maybe that's the hyperlink. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it simple and just select the entire sentence. All right. Now, to add a link, all you're doing is inserting. So I'm going to go ahead and go to full screen here, as I promised, because it gives me a lot of space to work with. With this being selected like this, I'm going to hit insert. And the first option we have is to insert a link right here at the top. Now, it gives you two choices, external and course. We're going to be using both of these today, but I'd like to start with the external links, something that's outside of Canvas, like your main website. So I'm going to go ahead and do external links and paste that in. Now I can go ahead and paste that URL. That's going to be completely fine. Hit done. And now I have a link. Now, if you want to test out that link to see if it works, you have to save the page. Sometimes we get a little bit of frustration. It's like, how come this link isn't working? Did I do something wrong? You haven't done anything wrong. I'm going to hit the escape key, hit save. And this is what happens when you click on a link that you create. So there's the link right there. Click on it. It's going to open up another tab. All right. And that's actually great because, for example, say I'm building an assignment and I want the student to do reading. They click on this link. They're going to see their textbook. So they can read assignment, and so on. All right. So that's how you can go ahead and add a link using the rich content editor. Other things you can do on this page, let me go ahead and hit edit one more time. You might want to add an image. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and above this, and if you're kind of wondering, it's like, how do you get things above and below? It really depends on where you put your cursor on the place. So if I put my cursor all the way at the end of page, I hit return and put my image down below it. If I want to go ahead and put an image above, I will have to probably move this link down a little bit. So if this link is, up here, I'm going to have to put my cursor to the beginning of that sentence, just hit return a couple times and put my cursor above it. All right. I want an image to go above this link. It's like the concept of adding a banner, a button, or an image in a quiz question. It's the same process. You use insert and insert an image. Now, it gives you the option to upload an image, use course images. Course images are that course file area that we looked at earlier. If you had dumped in a bunch of course image file folders there, you'll be able to access that space. A lot of these course templates have images that come with them. I'm going to just upload an image today to show you how easy it is. So upload an image and click on this little rocket ship. And what image do I want to add today? I did add that earlier, but I thought this was pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and add this at the top. Now, before I add this, I want to talk a little bit about alt text. Best practices when it comes to accessibility. If a student uses a screen reader, we want them to be able to know what that image is about. You can certainly go with a decorative image if it's nothing relevant to instruction. But if you do want to put alt text there, we do recommend it. I would just basically put school logo. And when I'm done, just hit submit. So remember how this is kind of a small space to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it to full screen. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's a huge image right there. So what I usually do is I select this. There isn't any cropping features in Canvas. So all I have is to be able to select it and kind of shrink it down a little bit just by, kind of dragging the corners in and out. If I want to center it on the page, we have our normal centering options on the toolbar. I can just go ahead and put it in the middle. So that's the concept of a banner, if it was more of a rectangle. So that's something you could certainly use. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you what that banner concept looks like if I basically go insert image again. Remember course images. I had uploaded an image earlier, which is this one right there. So just basically choosing that one. Yeah, just because I got rid of it earlier doesn't mean that it deletes it from the course. It's there until I go into the course files and delete it. If I want to go ahead and, maybe change the size of that a little bit, probably not be so big, sure, no problem. But I'm still going to probably center it on the page, something that looks a little bit like this. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put one more image on this page, just a little bit smaller. Upload image, and what do I have? How about this one? And this one's going to be a button, eventually a button that we build. Button to main page. And that's huge. So I just, again, come down over here and just bring the size in. So I'm going to put it about like that. All right. So right now I've got a link and I've got an image, and that's all I want to do for right now. Again, best practice when you bring a link, make sure it's descriptive. Don't just paste in that URL. When you do bring an image in, you know that you can just, center it on the page using your tools up here at the top. You can select the image. You can make it larger or bigger depending on how you drag and drop this content, kind of the corners. And you can just add an image in general. Just remember the concept of alt text. All right. So let's get you trying it. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, hit save, show you what it looks like so far. And let's get you trying it. So in this activity, you're just going to open up that page. I want you to insert a link. Remember, best practices there. But I also want you to add images. So if you want to go ahead and insert an image, I inserted 2. If you want to insert 1, that's completely fine. But for the time being, just a link, just an image. When you're done, go ahead and hit save. I'm going to give you it's going to take about 2 minutes on this one. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat. All right, something pretty simple, right? Adding some links, adding some images. Let's go ahead and do some things with this page. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up again, hit edit. And I'm just going to go ahead and go into the full screen view so I can see what I'm working with. Again, that kind of gets annoying a little bit, scrolling up and down. Full screen view, bottom right-hand corner. And let me go ahead and kind of position my cursor right over here. And I want to talk about this image in this space. A lot of times you've seen, for example, on home pages, there are buttons that take the student other locations within the course. Buttons can be images. Buttons can be something as simple as you type out, click here to go to the announcements, right? So it can be text-based or image-based. Well, if you remember, we went ahead and made a duplicate copy of this page. We hit duplicate and it created a copy. Well, I want to link this image as a button and have it take you to that other page. It's kind of like the concept from the home page, linking to the bio, linking to a schedule, linking to this, parent resources, things like that. But if you want to have images as buttons, this is the process. Well, one, you know you've already got the image here. Well, then you're selecting the image. Once that image is selected, you are going to insert a link. That's right. Remember, when we have insert, we have two options for inserting a link. External, so you can certainly link this button to the main page if you need to, or a course link. So a course link is going to go ahead and pull out this side menu here on the right-hand side. There's a lot of things that we could just link off of. So if we want to go ahead and create an announcement, link to any assignment, quiz, or discussion, we can do that. We can also link to specific announcements. If we want to build a homepage and have links to specific modules, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, we can link to those modules if they're available. And finally, we can also link to course navigation pieces. You may have seen, for example, options of, hey, click here to go to the syllabus. Yeah, if I want the student to go into the syllabus tool, I just choose this option. If I want them to, if I want to create an announcement button, they can go to the announcement area. So all of the items in the global navigation menu are also potential items that can be linked. So in this particular case, remember, I want to link to that copy. Remember, we made a copy of this page. So with it being selected, with the insert link, course link options available, I'm going to choose pages. And see how titling it helps so we don't have to find it in this list of content? It's going to be at the top. There's my copy. I'm just going to link it. Watch what happens with this being selected. That's a hyperlink now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out and show you what happens. And again, to try your links out, you got to save your work. So I got to hit escape and save. All right, so what happens here? If I click on this, it takes me to that copy page. And guess what? What would be helpful here? How would we get back? Yeah, we could create a link that takes us back, like a link back to the home page, link back to the announcements. Yeah, just by coming over here, hit edit on this page. And something as simple. Instead of image, I'll just go ahead and use this as a text. Click here to go back. And I'll choose here as the option that you have to click on and hit insert link, course links. Remember those pages? I'm just going to do the reverse here. That one. And save and publish. So here's the process now. I'm in this page. Read whatever is here. Okay, click here to go back. All right, click here to go to the page. Click here to go back. All right, so you can go ahead and create those links, whether it's image-based buttons or text-based, right? And you can link to external areas like your main website or link to the late policy of a Canvas course. You just need to have that page built and you link to it, all right? So I'd like you to try that out. Go ahead and play with the concepts of linking. I want you to go ahead and open up this page again. I want you to take that image that you created and link it to the copy that we created at the second activity. If you want to go above and beyond, go ahead and create a backlink from that copy to the main page, all right? Or at least the main page that we went ahead and built and we're working on. Once you're done, just go ahead and hit save. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. And if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. All right. So the next thing I wanted to cover on this page is what we kind of would think is pretty basic. And what I mean by that is, you know, text on the page. Like, for example, if this was a home page, the welcome. If this was, for example, a policy page, just text, something that's just copied and pasted or typed in. In my case, it's going to be copied and pasted in, but there's a couple of things that we want to know when it comes to page structure. Let me go ahead and go back here to the page that I'm working on. Say I want to go ahead and put a message down below. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and go to full screen. And I want this typed out message to be above this link. Why not, right? In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just put my cursor right over here and paste this in. It's a simple welcome message. All right. And if I want to, I can go ahead and take these pieces down below, just kind of hover, click and hold, and maybe center it on the page. Something like this. All right. But the thing here is that text that I just put on the page, there's a little bit of formatting that we want to be aware of. If we just copy and paste or start typing something up, the thing to note is that it's always in a paragraph style format, meaning that when you look right here, it's like, what does that mean? This little paragraph item? Well, that's the formatting of the text down below. What we normally recommend is if you do have like a welcome message or you have things like late policy or just something that has important bullet information, maybe take that welcome right here, just the welcome, and switch it to maybe a header 2. All right. The reason why, again, best. All right. Can everyone see my screen? All right. Excellent. Well, anyways, Neil, where was I before? I was basically showing some text on the screen here, and I think that's around the time that, you know, the internet went down.
You were talking about formatting text.
Perfect.
You cut and paste something in and you formatted welcome as a heading.
Exactly. All right, perfect. So that's what I wanted to get across, is that when it comes to typing something out, or a lot of times we're copying and pasting template content in this space, we might want to go ahead and use the proper headering functionality. So if I have, for example, some intro and objectives, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of drop this down over here. And just going to put my cursor, give me a couple of returns. Yeah, I might want to go ahead and bring some emphasis to this course intro and objectives by, again, just highlighting this one piece and just maybe changing up the headering format. If this is kind of like something in series, I could go ahead and go again with a header 2. But if this is kind of like an outline where this is attached to it, but also an important point, I could go with a header 3. I'm going to go ahead and just go again with a header 2. The reason why I wanted to show you this is because we have actually a structural tool in place that can divide this content up, meaning that if I want to have a little bit of a dividing line in between these two pieces, I just put my cursor right here and use the insert functionality to insert me a horizontal line. Yeah, and I think that looks a lot cleaner as well. It kind of divides the content. So if you're building a assignment template or a quiz template, you can go ahead and separate the objectives of the actual assignment, what the assignment is about, between the instructions of what you want the student to do. So it doesn't kind of bleed all together. I just recommend using proper formatting. It looks a lot cleaner. It's a good accessibility practice. One last thing that I'll put here, which is pretty obvious to a lot of us that use, for example, bullet points. I'm going to go ahead and just put something like this in. Something a little bit like this. And let me go ahead and capitalize that N. This might be kind of like a header 3. In this course, you're going to learn to do X. I'm going to go and use a header 3 functionality there, but instead of just, just pasting in those objectives, I might want to go ahead and use the bullet points. So you can use your bulleting features where you normally would center page content right over here. We give you a couple of different options. I'm just going to go ahead and select this one. And I think that just looks a lot cleaner, in at least my opinion anyways. All right, so other than that, let me go ahead and just kind of take out that last bullet point. I'll go ahead and center that back up here on the page. Perfect. And put another horizontal line here to kind of divide up the content as well. So insert horizontal line. All right. Other than that, let's go ahead now and let you go ahead and try those concepts. If you want to go ahead and use the horizontal line, that's great. Let's go ahead and just take a quick second for that. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put you into this activity screen right here that I like putting up here. Just keep calm and try it. I'm going to give you about a minute to just type something up on the page. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know there in the chat. All right, everybody. Coming back over here, let me just go ahead and save what I have right now just to show you what we're looking like. Just save my page. Yeah, and just me talking through it, I've got a pretty halfway decent formatted page out. Just again, use your proper formatting in your text. If you want to divide content up, insert a horizontal line, and you can get something that looks a little bit like this. All right. Anyways, let's do a little bit more because we can. I'm going to go ahead and just hit edit again. What if we want to add things like media, right? What if this message right here is not a message for high schoolers? This is a message for elementary, primary. Sometimes we'd recommend a video message instead, a video message for parents, something the students can click on and play that either you will record or the teacher will record. You can even put something like this. I've seen this in a lot of templates, insert video welcome here. Something that looks a little bit like that. Kind of getting the teacher's attention if you're building this for them, because you probably don't want to do the video introduction for them, right? But if you do want to do anything with video, whether you want to put video in a home page as an introduction, you want to do video on an update in the class and an announcement, you want to put video instructions in an assignment, or if you want to put video in a multiple choice question as answer choices, it's the exact same process. Just by hitting the insert option right here, we have a media tool. So insert media, upload record media. Now we can always access the MP4 videos that you've uploaded previously here in course media. I'm going to go ahead and just show you this option right here. First area, it asks you, would you want to drag in some type or drop in some type of MP4 video file, or do you want to go ahead and record something yourself? I'm just going to go ahead and just do a quick example of what a welcome message could look like using this recording tool. And just need to allow my camera to be on. All right, everybody. So a couple things about this tool. You can actually switch this just to audio. If you just come right about here, there, click where it says webcam. Now you can go to no video, and now you're building multiple choice questions with audio responses. All right, or you're just putting some type of audio track in the homepage, however you want to do it, if you don't want to be on webcam. But if you do, just go ahead and click on webcam right here, switch to the camera of choice, and now you can go ahead and record a video. And if there is a recommendation on making videos, always be smiling before the video starts. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do something right quick. Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Roper, your teacher. I just want to go ahead and welcome all of you to my classroom. We've got a lot of things that we're going to be diving into in our course, a lot of great concepts. I have put some resources down below that you can go ahead and click on to learn a little bit more about this class, about me, and other than that, welcome to my classroom. All right, so that was a little unscripted. I might redo that, if after playing and embarrass myself, but that's how you would go ahead and create a quick video in the classroom using one of the default media tools in the rich content editor. To save this, all I'm doing is giving it a title, welcome 1, and saving it. It's going to go ahead and put it right there. I can select it and center it on the page if I want to, but I'll just go ahead and leave it underneath it just to show you what that would potentially look like. And if you're kind of wondering, like, how long does it usually take to get a video to download? Well, it depends on the size. Once you see that little circle kind of showing up right about in the middle, you know that video's just about done. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you where you can put closed captioning for those of you that need to add closed captioning to videos. Once a video processes where you can see the thumbnail like what we're looking at, you just select the video and hit Video Options. Let's pull out that little slider over here on the side. This is where you can go ahead and choose what language was being spoken and upload any closed captioning file that you might have for this particular space. I'm going to go ahead and just say done and save what I have. And this is what we're looking like right now. And there we go. Another thing that you can do is you can embed video content. Let me go ahead and just kind of use an example of YouTube. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of open up a YouTube channel here, science channel. Here's one thing we don't recommend. We don't recommend that you send the students to YouTube. I usually like, if there's any type of video, I want it embedded into the course. I want it embedded in Playable. So when it comes to anything from YouTube, this is how I would embed a video or anything that has embeddable features. So just kind of coming through here, see, this is terrible if you're picky, all right? But dead stars in our skies, why not?
Should this tactical zoom lens...
Isn't that annoying? Commercials? You never get commercials when you embed content in a course. Also, you don't get the distractions of all the stuff here in the side menu that, maybe I don't want to watch this 4-minute video. I'll watch a video over here instead. We want the student to watch this in the course. So if you need to embed anything in the course, anything that is embeddable, and I'm just using this as an example, for YouTube to find the embed option, you've got to find the share option, which is usually right about there. When I click on share, it's going to go ahead and give me the embed option. All right, so right over here, embed. And that's it. That's what I need. I don't even need to copy all of this. Like, I don't need to do something like that. Like, select it, because the copy button is right here. So I'm just going to copy. There we go. So I've copied that. I don't need to go to YouTube anymore. I just come back over to the page that I'm working on. And you know what? There's a lot of information on this page. I think I'm going to go ahead and use that copy that we made earlier. So I'm just going to click on it, take me over here. And why don't I use this space a little bit? So I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. And I want that video to go about right there. All right. So I'll put a little bit of a prompt over it. Check out this video. And I'm going to insert an embed. All right, so insert. So we've recorded using media, but there's actually an embed option within this list. So I'm just going to go down a little bit further to where it says embed. And remember, all I did was just hit the copy button from the share of an embed of a YouTube video. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste that right here and submit. So this is the experience now. Instead of being redirected to YouTube, instead of watching commercials, instead of click on my link to subscribe, it's basically this. No commercials at the beginning. And when the video ends, it doesn't
when it comes to the star apocalypse,
doesn't play another video. It's just going to go give the student the ability to just watch it again. So whether you want to embed video content, whether you want to create your own, we give you those options. So I'm going to go ahead and let you try this. Looks like there's a question there in the chat. Is there a limit to the amount of video that we can put into Canvas? There is, and there is an activity that I'm going to address that, because videos take up a lot of space. Like, for example, if I had the actual movie here, the actual downloadable movie, it's 4 minutes, that could be approximately, I don't know, 200, 300 megabytes. That could take up some space in the course, especially if you want to monitor space. You can actually go to the files area of a course. You'll be able to see how much space has currently been taken up. But videos take up the most amount of space in a course. Now, if you link to YouTube embeds, that does not take up any space. If a student sends in a video submission, that does not take up any space in the course. Also, a tool that I'm going to be showing you here next called Studio. Yeah, you could go ahead and create a 3-hour studio video. Does not take up any space in the course. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I wanted to get you familiarized with some of the default ways that we can get media in the course. Sometimes we just need to do a quick welcome message. Sometimes we just need to do some quick video instructions on an assignment. But if you need to like have lecture content, watch this, 30-minute video lecture and so on, you might want to use Studio. We'll take a look at that in a second. So I've embedded a video here. Come back to the main page that I'm working on, added some type of welcome message using the default media tools. Let's get you trying that. So go ahead and add some video. Insert an embedded video. I'll let you choose whether you're using the main page that you're working on or that duplicate copy we linked to. If you want to embed content, YouTube's always a great choice. Just remember on YouTube in the shareable, look for the embed option and then insert the embed in the rich content editor. If you want to, insert a video by just recording yourself, right? Just try it out. Today, we're just practicing learning these tools. When you're done, go ahead and hit save. I'm going to give you a little bit more time than usual because videos sometimes take a second to process, or maybe we're a little picky. We want to find something. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes and 30 seconds on this one. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. I love that concept, Stephanie. Stephanie says she loves embedding videos. I've also used this process to embed PowerPoints. Did you know that you can embed a Canvas calendar? Yeah, a Google Calendar. There's the embeddable functionality in a calendar. You can just embed it into a page. And that's right. It's linked directly to the calendar. If you're making any type of changes, you can go ahead and see those changes on that index page. Yeah, anything that you need has an embed code. Yep. Oh, Stephanie, no worries. No one's going to judge you. All right. How are we all doing? Oh, Neil might. Oh, we'll have to have a chat. Other than that, adding some video, embedding it or creating it on your own. Again, use cases for the default tool, maybe a simple welcome message, something short and sweet, embeddable, anything that's embeddable, whether it's PowerPoint, whether it's just a YouTube link, VMO, TED Talks can even be embedded in this space. And the benefit, well, it just plays the video. It doesn't have commercials, no link. It doesn't direct the student to YouTube so they can get distracted there as we all would. Yeah, great ability to just embed the content onto the page. All right. Well, anyways, there's another media tool that you want to be familiar with. All right. Another media tool in the rich content editor. And you might use this tool if you're a teacher in a course and you need to add a layer of engagement to that video. Because right now, I don't know who watched that video. I can't put anything in there where questions pop up. You can actually do that with a tool called Studio. So if you've noticed over here in the global navigation menu, there is a Studio option right here. I want to go ahead and just let you all know that when it comes to using Studio, this is going to be more instructional, that you know this functionality exists, as opposed to you putting a Studio video in a course you're building. Here's the reason why. Studio videos are usually role specific. That means if I'm a teacher of a course, I put my Studio videos in and students watch them. If you, a designer, put your Studio videos in a course and give that to a teacher, like a copy of that course, those Studio videos will not work for that teacher. All right. So this is more or less showing you what Studio can do. And if you do need to direct a teacher on how they would use Studio in the course, or just knowing how this functionality exists, or you're wanting to add video content, which one do I choose? Well, this is basically what we need to do when it comes to using Studio. So let me show you what this tool is used for. I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. And you know what? I'm not going to use this course right now because this is getting pretty busy. Let me go ahead and use my button over here to go to my play page. All right, cool. I'm going to put a Studio video here, hit edit, and let's go to full screen. Say I want to put a video right about here. Sometimes we kind of have to get around some of the spaces that we're in. So if I put a video there, I have to kind of click out here in the ether until I see my little cursor blinking right there in the lower right-hand corner of that video. It's going to hit return. Okay, that's where I want my video, right below it. So to use Studio, you can access Studio from this space by clicking on this little plug in the toolbar. All right, well, actually, when I zoom in, it likes to go away. But when I click on it, I can hit View All, and now I've got Studio. By the way, this is an alphabetical list. This also contains all of these other items as well. YouTube links, Studio, Khan Academy, various Google applications, Discovery Ed. I'm going to go ahead and choose Studio because it is a media tool that Oklahoma City Public Schools is using. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. All right, so nothing's been added yet. So if I want to record something, I can go ahead and use the webcam or screen capture. And the benefit of this is that this does not take up any space in a Canvas course. I could go to the add option. I could browse my files and find an MP4 that's, 10 gigabytes in size. Now that's huge. That's like the Harry Potter series almost. You would never do that. But you could. It won't take up any space in a course. But just remember where it says add to my library, that is my library. As a designer, this course, I'm designing it. I'm eventually going to give a copy to a bunch of teachers. They're going to be able to get a resource. These studio videos will not work in a teacher's course. But let me go ahead and kind of show you what you could potentially do. All right. So let me go ahead and just show you how to add a YouTube video, because we always can grab some type of file using the same concept right here, the same video. I'm going to grab the URL of it. All right, grab the URL of it, the web address, and just paste it right here where it prompts me to paste a URL from YouTube. All right, now I've added it to my Studio library. I'm going to use it in this course. I'm just going to hit select, and it gives me an option to allow comments. That means questions can pop up as the video is playing. So yeah, I'll go ahead and allow comments. So embed. So notice the size difference right here. It looks like we've got a question about certain sizes of embeds. There is a way to change the size of this, but you will need to go in the HTML editor. You can actually locate that if I just kind of come out of here out of full screen. And lower right-hand corner, right next to the full size, is the HTML editor. You just got to know a little bit of well, it doesn't take much to kind of see okay, here, that must be the YouTube video, because now I can take a look at the width and height. If I change those numbers, that will actually change the size of that video. All right. So it's just a matter of accessing the HTML right here. Like, for example, if I wanted that a little bit bigger, access the HTML, and it's okay, YouTube. All right. Currently it's 550 by 3. Let me go ahead and increase that to, well, I don't know, 515, and change this one up to 760. All right, how's that look now? Just hit the HTML back. See how big it is now? It's almost as big as the studio video. So that's how you can change up the size. All right, but other than that, notice right over here, these are the same videos, but that's a YouTube video. I don't know whether the students watched it. I can't add questions to it. It's a little different with this one because I can add questions. So as a teacher, if I want students to watch the video and answer questions as a class, I usually put my cursor about right here. Let me lower the volume a little bit. I'm going to put my cursor right about here and kind of hover here in the comment area. As soon as I click on it, pauses the video, and I can just put question 1. Comment. It's going to put that little speech bubble right there. So as students watch the video, as it comes to that little speech bubble, eventually, there we go. Question 1. Students can go ahead and answer, and their answers will all be kind of clustered after each one of my questions. Just move this cursor over here and hit comment. That would be my question 2. And that's the same video. We can just take any YouTube video and turn it into an engagement or a teaching tool within our course. But then again, remember, as curriculum designers, if we were to do this in our course that we're designing, that's perfect. But as soon as we give a teacher a copy of this course, these studio videos, because we're not teachers in that course, we can't be teachers everywhere, these videos would not work. In fact, the only way that you could get a studio video in, and at that point, it would just be a video, it wouldn't have any comments, is the embed functionality, because when it comes to studio video, let me just show you one thing here. This might be relevant if you are a curriculum designer and you do want to go ahead and build up some studio video content and put it into courses, but not necessarily needing any type of engagement layer. You just need the students to watch these 3 videos and you just happen to have them in studio. Well, you could technically do this. I'm going to go ahead and just save what I have. So if I go into studio right here, there's that video that I added. I can just hit this menu and go to share media. It's going to give you an area to create a link for it right here. So create a public link. That's the link that you would put in a course you're building. That means anyone can now watch that video, right? Because you're creating a link. So there's the embed code, and I've shown you how to get an embed code into a course. Just, come over here. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on this. And find myself a little bit of real estate here. Well, actually, you know what? Let me put it at the top. Why not? So I'm going to go ahead and insert an embed from Studio. And again, this is a course I'm building. So this will actually show up in that course copy because it's an embed. It's not a video that I'm putting in that I'm creating and it's a link to my account. It's the embed. So it's a public link. And yes, if you feel like you want to go ahead and change the sizes up, you could potentially edit those real quick. Oh, look at that. Like a little bit of a stair step look. So what do we got going on here? We've got an embed from Studio that will work in any course copy. We've got an embed from YouTube. And the only difference here that I would say that this is probably a little bit better is that there's links here that I could potentially click on as a student and it takes me to YouTube, right? Whereas, if I watch this video, I could click on YouTube right there. See right there? That's gonna, okay. You don't want to do that, right? So the embed's a little bit different. When it comes to adding it from Studio, there is no area to click on in this particular space. I suppose you can actually click the share and watch later, but
for over 4.5.
But that's just an option that you have there, or what it looks like between embedding studio content that will stay in a course copy, as opposed to something that you add here and you add your own questions. Teachers are never going to see that. Students will never see it. This will not work in a course if I give this course out as a copy. All right. Just kind of taking a look here at some of the questions there in the chat. Penelope, will the video continue if the student doesn't answer the question, or does the student have to answer the question? That's a great question. So in this particular space, all open pages within the course, this would be a class video. Everyone watches it. That means that the video will play through regardless of the questions. It'll play through, the question will pop up, and the student wants to engage it, they can. The only time that the video stops with Studio for the questions is a video quiz, where the student takes it individually and then they answer the questions. But when it comes to studio content built like that, that would be more the responsibility of the teacher. The teacher would need to build their own studio video, their own studio quiz to work in their course. You, unfortunately, would not be able to build it as a curriculum designer and have it work in a course copy, right? Because it's technically your video quiz and not that teacher's video quiz. But you can always walk them through the process if you know how to build with Studio or add studio content. It's pretty intuitive. Having video quizzes in the course is an amazing resource. All right, everybody. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and hit escape and let you try that out. If anything, just to know that there is another video tool in a course that you can embed video content from Studio at the top. You can also embed videos in general as long as you have an embed code like this here in the middle. And if you wanted to ever instruct a teacher on how they would get a video in the course and add questions, you can show them that process by accessing from the rich content editor the Studio video tool. They can go ahead and add the questions as needed. All right. But other than that, go ahead and play with this tool. This is kind of like part 5.5. All right. Go ahead and try Studio. Try it out, whether you want to embed Studio video, if you want to create your own, clicking on the play bar, adding some questions. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and just bring me about right over here. It's going to take about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. All right, how are we doing? The reason why we're talking about Studio, some of you might be wondering, well, if we're not going to use Studio in a course, because the course has to be copied over, someone gets a copy, why would we need to know about it? One, it's nice to know about that tool and that functionality if anyone's asking. But in our part 2 of our training, where we start building effective assignments, that is going to come into play if we need to demonstrate a screen capture of how a student submits to an assignment. Because remember, I've just demonstrated, while we certainly can't just create a video and just insert it in, we can create a video and use the embed, the public link of a Studio video, and put it into any course, and it will work. If you have a public link that demonstrates how step-by-step a student is going to submit a file upload, a video essay, text entry, or even a Studio assignment, you can go ahead and be the student view, screen capture with Studio, and use the embed as a tool. And since that's in your Studio library, you can always share out the public link in any course that you're working in. We'll find out more about that in part 2, but I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of taste of what Studio could do in our session today. All right, so Studio out of the way. Great. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the other thing that we need to add in this particular space. What about documentation? What about PDFs, PowerPoints, Word docs, Google Docs? I'm talking at first about items from your hard drive. So if you've got a rental car receipt on your desktop, some type of document that's there, not cloud just yet. All right. So in this particular space, it's filled with video content. I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean it up a little bit. I don't need all these videos here. I'm going to go ahead and just put my cursor down here at the very end, just kind of hit the delete button until I kind of get to where I need to be. And usually I have to kind of click out here into the ether until I see a little blinking cursor down there. Just hit delete until I'm, about right here. So there's a couple of different ways you can add documentation in this space, whether you're adding a syllabus template, assignment instructions, something from your hard drive, you want to insert those documents. I'm going to go ahead and hit insert here. And it's this fourth option. So we've done links, images, media, embeddable content, horizontal lines. How about documentation? So I'm going to go ahead and upload a document. Let's come right over here. And I'm going to not try to be picky in this space. Where's my shop at? There we are. Some documents I normally use. How about a syllabus? Let's just pretend it's a syllabus. Click here to go to the syllabus, things like that. All right. So right there, that's a PDF document. And submit. All right. One thing I'd say that if your document file is just basically 11567 syllabus.pdf, I'd probably change up the titling a little bit. And you can actually do that right here if you need to. We like having links to be as descriptive as they can of what the student would click on. But there's a couple of display options that we have here, which are newer to Canvas. We have 2 display options. Well, in order to see what they look like, I have to go ahead and select one. So with this link being here, and you know what, I'm just going to increase it just for people like me that can't see very well. Yeah, sure, something like that. You have to click on that PDF that you just added. It's going to give you what says link options. Opens up the little slide menu. And here are the two display options that we have. Preview in an overlay or preview in line. And it gives you the ability to just basically have that as your default. Preview in an overlay. What does that look like? Well, let's go ahead and check it out. Let me go ahead and hit done and hit escape. Let me save what I have. So this is what it looks like. It's going to just be that link. But when the student clicks on it, everything else darkens. And now you can go ahead and take a look at the document and read it. All right. And it still gives the student the ability to download if necessary. And when they're done, they hit close and just come back to the page. Why would you use that? Well, if you have more than one document here, so say this is a 3-part activity pages. So part 1, part 2, part 3, pages of information. Well, you wouldn't want all of them to auto open because now like the student is scrolling to the next page, scrolling to the next page. So maybe use the overlay for 3 or 4 documents. But with one document like this, maybe we want to have it just auto open on the page. So I'm going to come over here, hit edit, and click on it again, go to link options, and I'm going to switch it to the inline and have it expand. All right, so preview inline and expand. Done. Let me go ahead and save what I have now, and this is what happens. I'm not touching anything. Just gonna load. There we go. And see how the document opens on the page instead? That could be the syllabus in the syllabus area. That could be for the assignments, or that's homework instructions, things like that. But you can see already that if I had 4 or 5 of them doing the same thing, one after each other, this would be a little bit of a massive scroll on the page. That means the student would have to scroll down. There's another page open beneath it. Maybe it's a little bit better if you have a couple of them in series to have an overlay instead of having them auto preview. Auto preview is great. This works with a screen reader. You know something works with the screen reader if you can select text on the document. Yep, that's definitely going to read on those particular spaces. All right, everybody. Well, that's adding documentation. Let me go ahead and let you try that out. Open up a page and add a Docker PDF. If you want to add a PowerPoint file, that's completely fine, but we're talking about things on our hard drive, and select some of the preview options. See what you think. You can go ahead and have it auto preview, have it just, preview in an overlay. I'll leave that up to you. So let's go ahead and take about 1 minute and 30 seconds here. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. All right, everybody, how are you doing? A lot more dangerous now than you were before when it comes to using the rich content editor, I hope. And if you're wondering, hey, we could have just been creating assignments all day or announcements. Why do we just kind of stay in here and do this, Well, we wanted to see all of the best features of the rich content editor. And I usually teach it in this style, the style of this movie, The Karate Kid, Sony Pictures Entertainment. If you haven't seen this movie, it's pretty good. It's about a kid who needs to learn how to use karate, all right, to stay away the bullies. That's Daniel. And that's Mr. Miyagi, who will teach karate. And there's a pivotal scene here where Daniel wants to learn karate from Mr. Miyagi. And Mr. Miyagi agrees. Anyone who's watched the movie, you can let me know there in the chat. Does Mr. Miyagi start teaching Daniel all the front kicks, the, breaking boards, things like that? Go ahead and let me know. Nope. Chris, what does Mr. Miyagi start doing first? Anybody? Yeah, wax on, wax off, up, down, left, right. And Daniel eventually basically does a lot of labor on the grounds. He waxes all the cars, wax on, wax off, sand the walkway, paint the entire house and fence. And there's that pivotal scene where Daniel's extremely frustrated. It's like, I've been duped, I've been tricked. Why did you show me all this when all I wanted to know was karate? All right. And that's when Mr. Miyagi asks him to show me wax on, wax off, and attacks him. And he just knows how to do those things just by repetition. And that's exactly what doing this process does. Because now, any course, you go to the syllabus area, you know how to insert a syllabus. Go over here and insert that document. You need to make an announcement, a video announcement. You go over to the announcement area and you insert media, or maybe you might use Studio. You might even embed a video as well. Homepage. If you need to go ahead and add a couple of dividing lines in between this content, now that you can just go ahead and come in here. You can insert an image for the banner. You can go ahead and put these dividing lines to kind of divide up the content as well. And when you go into an assignment and you need to put in some instructions, well, now you know when you go into an assignment, hit that plus assignment button. Rich content editor. So now you can type something out, insert some type of document that can preview in the form that you need it to, or video instructions if needed. In fact, we're going to be doing a lot of video instructions when we come back for part 2, but that's the reason why we start out with a content page, to give you a little bit of a groundwork on how to use the only tool to build content throughout a Canvas course. So thank you very much for kind of sticking with it today. Now you're a lot more dangerous, as Daniel was, when it comes to the skills of using the rich content editor. That being said, next session, we did go over a little bit. I apologize about the outage that we had slightly, but when we come back, I'm going to give you a demo on Google and what Google Drive can actually do within Canvas, along with some content building when we get back, quiz, content building, assignment, effective assignments. But thank you so much for hanging out. So for hanging out today, thank you. I do want you to leave with something before you go. It's what I call badge time. Let's go ahead and get some type of digital badging for you all. So here's some information for it. I'm going to give you the badge claim form because you attended half a day of training. All right. I'm also going to include a survey there as well. Again, I apologize about the outage. That's kind of like one of the pitfalls of teaching through a Zoom screen, right? We all need the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and put this information here in the chat. Just give me 1 second here. And here we go. Curriculum teams, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next session. I believe that next session, looking at our coordination document, is on the 5th. So it's tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Just go ahead and we'll be using the exact same Canvas course we practiced out of today, but everyone was amazing. Thank you for your questions. We'll see you tomorrow.